Okay, let's talk about the new CA bot. I wanted to show what was happening with like a current play that's showing up. And while we're watching this in real time and talking about strategies you can use to ensure that you're getting a good entry, then we'll also talk about what the CA bot is about. So let me just we'll look back at this here in a second. So the way that I found that one is right here. It just now popped up 9 minutes ago at 1:16. You always want to use the second signal. So here's the first, here was the second. First of all, these are all like degen plays, so understand that not all of them are going to work out, but I am going to show you some results over the last couple of days here in a minute, and you're going to see that a large portion of them actually did turn into big wins. I didn't track all of them, but I'm going to show you the ones that I did look at and what they look like right now. So 11 minutes ago at 1:16, that would have been right in here. Actually would have been the very top. So in this case, and what I'm going to show you is ways to keep from this happening. So even though this one showed up, this alert showed up as this was topping out, you can use the MACD here on the minute chart. Now the way that you play this is, as long as everything's green right here, you're fine. But as soon as you get a cross down of the blue over the red, or kind of orangish color, where this turns to red down here, then you just want to get out. And this would really mostly be for the very beginning of the token, when it first launches, or maybe you just jumped into one where you saw an alert. And the reason for that is, usually there's some kind of correction after the first move up. And we're not always going to get the first move up, although we do sometimes. So what we're looking for now on this one specifically, since we didn't get the first move, is we want to see if it's going to hold. And these are the levels that I would want to see it hold. You can use this on any of these tokens. So around 100K, maybe 400 to 500K, somewhere in there, or 1 million. So if we can see it hold these levels, that's what we want. But what we're looking for here is for this to turn back to green on the MACD. So we want to see this blue line, which is a little bit difficult to see on here, I know. I don't know if I can make it thicker, maybe. There we go. So what we're looking for here, it crossed down. Now we want to see the blue cross back above it, and that would be our signal to enter. And if that coincided with, staying above these lines, like currently it's above 1 million, it could dip down to like 400K because there was resistance here that could turn support. So if you see this starting to pull back down here below, then you just wait for it to come down near, 400, 500,000, and then you might buy there. Now it could just keep going, but we're going to see if it's going to come down. And while I'm talking about that, while we're waiting on that to transpire, let's talk about what the CA bot is. So the CA bot pulls from every single one of our alert channels. You're probably looking at this top degen wallet channel and saying, man, that's a lot of spam. How am I ever going to be able to figure anything out? Well, we decided that the best way to do that is to look for a contract address to show up a second time for additional conviction that there's a lot of interest in it. So that's what we're looking at here. A second contract address has shown up in a separate channel. So first, top degen wallets. Here's the first one that popped up. So one of our wallets that we have curated that we follow gave us a contract address here for Eco. And then also on Money X Smart Alpha, which is X accounts that we track that are usually getting into plays early. You can click through and see where that came from. Here's somebody that followed this Eco, Twitter account, and always verify that the CA is correct. But what you want to do in this case first, the most important step you can take is to copy the contract address, go to trench.bot, and then paste it up here. And we can see that it has 6 total bundles. 12 souls was spent to purchase all of these. Like what happens with this, just so you know, when a token is created by a token creator, and some people call them devs, they're not really devs in a lot of cases. They're just creating a token hoping to make money off of it. So what they did is they took this 12.57 Sol and they split it amongst 6 different wallets. And one of those wallets could have been the dev wallet, but they split it amongst 6 wallets. And so what would that be, like 2 Sol per wallet or something? And so they purchased a random amount. What they're trying to do is hide their activity so that people don't know that they have multiple wallets. And this is really no different than something like a token unlock for, you know, a legit project. So if you get a token unlock, we know that that's gonna, you know, somebody may be selling it. You know, it's basically distribution back onto the market. It's going from, you know, demand to buy it to supply to sell it. You know, people are selling that supply that they have that they just received. So, you know, if there's a low amount of bundles here and a low amount of Sol spent, that's good for us. And I'm going to show you some results here in a little bit on how we can best utilize this information. Typically, we want to see this under like, you know, 21 or so. But, you know, sometimes even 30 bundles is okay. It's just that I found the best results were under 21 total bundles. But the total amounts of Sol spent is going to be important as well, and we need to kind of keep an eye on that. So let's see what's going on with this. It's still struggling. We haven't had a cross up just yet. So we'll keep checking back on it. But what I wanted to show you regarding this, let's just get this out of the way for a second. I don't know if I can use it on this one like I normally do. I think I can. So let's just say that you have multiple alert channels, which we do. Let me put this inside the box. Okay, so we've got multiple alert channels that we're pulling from. And there may be a ton of these things, right? You know, it may be just like a huge amount of alert channels, but we really don't care that it's spamming us, that it's giving us so much information. It's almost like a hive mind, right? It's trying to find a conclusion. It's trying to find, you know, gather all this information, compile it, and then produce a result for us. So in this case, we're sending it all to the CA bot. So the CA alert bot, which is right here, CA alert bot, all of this is being sent to it. Every single one of these alert channels. And what we're looking for is we want to see 2 contract addresses that match. And once we get that, you know, from these up here, so that's what all these are looking for. And as soon as this happens, that's what our bot is doing. It's going to send us an alert. And when that alert shows up, it'll look like this initially. I mean, you can go back and look at this one, you know, and see the first. So when 2 alerts show up here, that's when it first alerts us. And so you would be looking at this one for Sol-ing 14 hours ago. It wouldn't be this first one. This was the first contract address that ever showed up for it, I believe. You could always copy this and look in the search. But, you know, it keeps adding on top of it over time, like this one. And we're trying to figure out how to handle that. I mean, we may cut it off to 5 only, or, you know, maybe in the future it'll dip again and give us another entry. We don't know. But, you know, trying to catch the early play is what we're looking for here. So we're looking at Ecoverse still. You know, we've got our second contract address showed up. This is a pretty good signal because it's not only giving us X Smart Alpha, like Money X accounts that find early plays, but it's also giving us one of our top degen wallets that's buying it. Could be the same person. You know, maybe they own the Twitter account as well. So what we're looking at here is this thing still wants to push down. It's probably coming down here to 400K or so at minimum. Could come down to 100K. If it holds in here, you know, if it at least holds above 100K, and we start to get, you know, some clear movement out of the MACD where it wants to turn up more, it starts looking like, there's more green bars up here, then you can go ahead and take a position. Currently it's downtrending, right? Now, another thing you can do is to bring up Bollinger Bands. And what we want to do here, like say if you would have gotten in back here, you wouldn't have gotten out until right here when the candle closed below. So now what we're looking for is a candle close above this midline right there. So there was a really big dip. It could recover here, I don't know. But there's also a chance it's going to reject here and come down one more time. So really you just have to put, you are going to get across soon, so you could take a chance here. And you could combine these two, so that you got your MACD, MACD indicator, and you also got your Bollinger Band. You're trying to see if you're going to get a candle close, which this would be a 1 minute candle close. So if it closes above here, you could take a position. Just understand that if it falls right back below, you probably want to exit. So there goes somebody right there. They tried to buy a bunch. So let's see. Yeah, we're trying to get across up here. Another thing you need to be doing is checking their Twitter. Just see if it's interesting, see if it kind of goes along with the narrative. You could even jump in their Telegram. What is this? Is that their Telegram? Oh, okay, so they have some kind of just basic website. Sometimes these go crazy anyway, even though there's not a whole lot to this thing. I don't know what this is. I guess they're just putting a GIF here. That's not the actual play to earn daily task. Well, I don't know what they're doing. They may be using an AI to play a game or something. Maybe that's what's going on. So there you go. If this closes above this line, then you could enter that play. You did get across up here. So if you wanted to take a chance here, you could. It's up to you. But just understand that if it closes back below, you got to get out. And then that's just for your own safety. So you don't lose a lot of money. But this is the way you would play it, low risk style. You could go, like when a token first starts, you almost have to be like on a 1 second chart, which is very difficult. Look at all you can't really do that, right? So if you want to wait and give it a little bit of time first, give it 5 or 10 minutes until you can get a Bollinger Band and a MACD showing up on a 1 minute chart. If that makes you feel safer, watching these indicators, then just do that as well. But yeah, a clear cross up here, a clear close above the midline. You don't have to have the Bollinger. It helps visually for you, because this is basically a moving support resistance line, this middle one. So anything above is bullish, anything below is bearish. That's how you would play it. Unfortunately, you can't put this on TradingView, these brand new tokens, or you could use Engineering Robo, but in this case you can't. So this is probably about the best you can do. But remember, especially if these two lines get above the midline here, like they were back here, that's when it gets really bullish. So really you could treat this like RSI, where if it's above the midline, these two lines are above the midline, then it's very bullish. If it's below the midline, then it's somewhat bearish still. And you got a rejection right there. So some people might want to wait for these two lines to actually cross above where these red and green candles intersect there, kind of right in the middle. But from the viewpoint of bundles, this is a very good project, or a very good risk to take, only because if it got a lot of eyes, there's not a lot of sell pressure from the developer. They don't have a lot of wallets sitting there ready to sell off on you as price goes up. You're probably, as soon as you get fresh wallets stepping in, this thing could really, make a good move. So let's wrap up here just talking about the results that we've seen so far. And these right here, I didn't enter any of these, by the way, just, full transparency. I've just been monitoring and trying to get a better understanding of how I can explain to you how to do these plays, because they are risky and I don't want you to lose money. And you do need to use good money management. Only 1 to 5% of the total amount of the total amount of capital that you want to use on these plays. And what that would look like is if you had $1,000 that you wanted to put towards risky memes like this, then 1 to 5% would be $10 to $50, something like that per play, and eventually you build up your portfolio that way. But it allows you to take some losses while you're trying to get these wins. So we had a lot of really good plays over 10x here. They're in the green. The thing that's obvious to me is that when I checked for the bundled plus the Solana amount that was purchased, they're basically, the token creator is trying to snipe token supply so they can make a lot of money as the price goes up. But they don't want you to know that. They want to hide this in a bundle. They want to hide it so it's not all in the dev wallet. So they're trying to hide the activity from you. So if we can find ones that are like under 21 bundled, like the one we just looked at here is 6. Well, this one right here, where did I go? Here we go. This one right here has 21 bundles, CapCat, when it launched. And the dev spent 46 SOL total to purchase tokens with those 21 wallets. And that's all it is. If it's bundled, then it's got 21 wallets. And then all of this SOL was sent to those wallets to buy or to snipe the token, to snipe the actual token on the first block on creation before any of the snipers could get in. So they're basically sniping their own supply, the token creator is. So 46 SOL divided by 21 wallets means they probably sent about 2 SOL per wallet to purchase, although it's going to fluctuate. They're going to try to hide it and make it look random. So yeah, this one did a 17x. This one had 9 bundled wallets with 30 SOL total. It did a 32x. This one had 12. This was a little bit higher. It had the 12 bundled isn't bad, but notice how the Solana amount, 63, they bought a lot compared to this one up here or this one or even this one down here. But it still went 38x, which is a little bit surprising. Maybe it has to do with how many bundled wallets there are. And then you had another one that had 13 bundled wallets with 49 SOL total that did a 200x here. And we talked about swarms a few days ago. But the thing to notice here is that, let's see, 52 bundled wallets with 168 SOL. Notice how, I guess this one could still go. If we brought GSCI up, it's only done a 3x that I've seen so far. Let's just see what it's doing now. Yeah, so it topped out, and I think it's probably going to crash, and it was just a pump and dump. Although it does show the dev was buying here, which is interesting. Anyway, ones like this, I don't know, it could hold, that level we were talking about, 100K, 400K, 1 million. If it got back above 1 million, it would probably get going again. But you don't have to hold these for a long time. If you want to just get it out, make your 2x, 3x, that's fine. Some of them like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of one off the top of my head. A1, what was it? AI61Z, Eliza, I think was the name of it. It was a longer hold. Peanut was a little bit longer hold. We're going to catch some of these. They're going to show up because we're tracking, and I'm talking about more 100x, 200x plays, but they're not going to be an easy play in real time. It's not easy to, like the one we're looking at here currently. I mean, in real time to play these, like you could buy right here because it's retesting this. And it does kind of have an uptrend here on the MACD, but it could turn right back down. We don't know. So really what you're trying to do is buy as close to this midline as you can on a dip. And then if it fails, you just get out and you don't lose much, if you get a candle close below. So this is more active trading. And it does take a little bit of TA skill, but you learn it over time, right? You just use these two tools here, the MACD and the Bollinger Band. You just open the indicators here. You can do this on, you can do this on Deck Screener as well, or whatever platform you use. But the main thing is that, it's important that this gets more eyes. So some of them keep moving, some of them don't. Some of them take many days to move. I mean, this thing sat around for 11 days and then all of a sudden had a big pump. Just today actually. So you can't really know when this is going to happen. You're just trying to buy levels as best you can. I mean, this one could keep going. As price comes down, though, you can see, this is your resistance currently. And the Bollinger Band's even telling you that. The upper level is telling you that it's kind of right in line with this candlestick. And then the bottom is kind of right in line with these bottom candlesticks. So just limit your risk as best you can. The green candles are starting to slow down here, the volume is. So you could take a position here, but you would have to watch it pretty closely, just in case, things turn around on you. But this is technically a higher high from this local bottom and a higher low currently. So it's kind of what you want to see. You could take a position in this, just, I don't know, just think logically about this. And you don't have to play any of these. You could just paper trade it like I've been doing on this chart right here. Just paper trade it and see how it goes for a couple of days and see if you can start to determine what a good strategy is for you, what works for you. If you don't want to look at any charts at all, that's fine. But you do need to check a couple of these metrics, like, grab the contract address, go over here, paste it in, and just see how many total bundles it has. If it's under 21 bundles, then there's a pretty good chance it's going to be profitable. And then as far as money management goes, as price goes up, if you want to be really safe, then you just take your initials out at a 2x or a 3x. You take 50% out and you just let the rest ride, and there's no stress to it at all, right? So yeah, just think about things like that. Do things the smart way, do things the logical way. And let me know if you have any questions on this. I think that's all I really wanted to say. We are testing some more wallets. We're constantly trying to improve this for you, and trying to make it where this won't spam you much. But the way to do this is, you don't have to sit at your computer or watch your phone all day on this. Just choose a time during the day that you want to trade, and there's probably going to be an alert show up while you're watching, while you're deciding that you want to trade during those hours. And, grab the contract address first, take it over here, paste it in. This is only going to work for pump, if it has pump on the end of it, by the way. For other ones, you may have to use the Telegram trench radar option. So here we've got 12 bundles. They spent 63 SOL. They've sold most of it already. They don't hold much percentage left. All of these that are in the gray have already sold. They only hold a small portion, so that's good. There's not a lot of sell pressure from these wallets. Which one was that one? Scoutly. Oh yeah, that's the one that did like a 30x already. So I don't know that I would be playing one that's already done a 30x. Try to find you a new one. Yeah, so here's where the alert first found it, and then it pumped 30x. Or no, this was an 18x. Oh, that's right, it did go up more. Okay. So this has actually gone up 40x now. So 31.5 million on Scout. I don't know if I have that right. Yeah, okay. So it first found it at 780K market cap, and I only do it by market cap, by the way. It makes it easier. And it's made it up to 31.5 million market cap now, so that's a 40x. I did put the link to this. I don't know that I'm going to keep up with it every day, but yeah, I'm trying to be as open about this as I can to show the results. Last night, I spent a lot of time going back and looking at these. And there were very few that were actually losses. Actually, none of them were losses. Well, this one was. But ones like this that only got to 69% and then turned around, obviously that would probably be a loss too for you. But you have to decide where you're willing to just say, hey, I'm done with this play. I'm going to find something better. The bundle looked good on it, 1739, but for whatever reason, it didn't keep going. I don't think it did anyway. But I guess it could get going later. I just don't know. Looks like it made it up to, 65% roughly from the entry. So sometimes we catch these after the initial pump. Sometimes we catch them when they're doing the pump. And I know everybody would like to get in as the pump is happening. But just do some testing with it, and there we go. We've got a breakdown of the midline right there. And this looks like it wants to roll down. Remember we were talking about these green candles looking like they were weak, now it's turning red. So sometimes you want to wait for these lines to get back above here, and that means that it's really bullish. So if you would have bought anywhere here, you would have sold right now, because the candle closed below this midline right here that's acting as support resistance. So if this thing comes down to like 100, 200K, 400K, 500K, something like that, then you could watch to see if it gets back above the midline, which is really, it's very similar to like getting a buy signal with Engineering Robo or something. Although, Engineering Robo is much more sophisticated. But, let's just say this thing did something like this, and then eventually came down here and started coming back up. And while that was happening, this moving support resistance line ended up down here, and then this got above it. Somewhere in here would be a really good buy. But you always want to make sure that the price gets back above. Just because it comes into this 100, 200K, 500K area, even 1 million market cap, which sometimes 1 million market cap is a good support level after a first initial push. Even if it hits that, it doesn't mean it's an immediate buy. You need to see it get back above this line, this midline, or you need to see this MACD turning up. Pretty important. Man, what else do I want to tell you on this? We are going to work on a version of this for the long-term plays. They're just not as active right now. So, we haven't forgotten about our long-term holders. The people that really want long-term plays, it's all right here for you. Long-term plays, or make sure you go to the education channel and go to this post right here. How to request access to high conviction spreadsheets. It's near the bottom of the education channel, and it'll tell you exactly where to find them and request access. I think most people should have access now. Let me just see if there's any questions here before I stop. What is the exit based on highest MCU so far? Yes. After the entry. Yeah, so you can kind of keep track of what we're doing here, how well the CA bot's doing, which I'm very impressed with it. To be honest, this one, and this one would have been losses for sure for you. So if we just use that information, well, I can't put a color on it. Anyway, that's 3 out of, there's a chance this one may have been a loss for you if you didn't take initials out, but it's up to you if you want to take initials. But at the very least, we're getting 50% win rate here. And although I don't have every single thing on here, this is a pretty good view in real time of the ones that I've gone back and looked at over the last 12 hours, 18 hours, something like that. I chose every single one of them. I didn't cherry pick on them. This one's interesting, Pantera AI. It's just sitting at a super low 18K market cap, but it moved up to 71K. And let's just see what it's doing now. I think this one had a low. It's tightening up a little bit here, number one. If you ever see the Bollinger Band start to tighten up, it means it could have a strong move. Yeah, see how the MACD, just like we were talking about, it's actually moved above this midline now, and the blue has crossed above the orange. So everything is trending up for it currently. It just needs more eyes. I don't know anything about the project. So it's an autonomous AI research built on AI 16Z DAO. And then if we look at, did I look at the bundle on this? I think that's the reason I did actually enter this one last night, even though it was a super low market cap. I just thought I'd take a chance on it because they had completely sold everything in their bundles, and they only had 9 bundles. Yeah, so this one could move, who knows? And the way that it was found, you can always paste the CA in Discord search and scroll all the way down and see where it first showed up. So it looks like there was a Sol Microcap alert, and then there was a Moni alert. Oh, it was on the raw token, yeah. And so that's why our bot gave the alert 17 hours ago, which would have been, actually it would have been pretty far up here, wouldn't it? So 9:05 p.m. last night for me. Oh wait, that's way over here, isn't it? 21st. I forgot this was a 4-hour chart. So anyway, it was somewhere in here. That's where I saw it, and that's why I got in, because it seems like at least a few eyes are on it now. So if you want to, consider this one, you can click on the spreadsheet, any of the information, where it was found, how it was found. Why did I just put Moni on there? Didn't I just say? Oh yeah, it was just Moni that it was found. Moni Raw and Moni X Smart Alpha. Okay. Yeah, so you can get any of that information there. Got too many tabs open. You can get the GMGN link. And if anybody wants to help me populate this with more plays, just to kind of get a better feel for how well this is doing, and if there's anything that we can find out here, like the bundled thing, I discovered that just by going through here and testing, back testing some of these plays. That's how I found all the best plays through Nansen. That's how I found all the best plays through Moni, is to back test and find who was getting in the plays early. That's what's most important. So now we've got a really good list of DGen wallets. We got a really good list of Moni X smart accounts, and it's coming together, right? I mean, we're finally, although it was really good before, now it's even better because all of the alerts are coming to us to where we don't have to go and look at every single channel. So I'm hoping y'all can see the improvement there, and I think you can. But even if you're a long-term trader and you don't have a lot of time to trade, maybe just jump on here one day and see how this works. Kind of look through some of the signals and see if maybe you want to jump in and try some of these out as well. Let's see. So if we go back to the CA Alert bot, just to kind of wrap things up here, remember that if there's a big list like here, you always want to go to the second oldest one. So here was the first signal, here's the second signal. This is what I judge everything on, where it initially got in. Like if you would have bought 6 hours ago, that's where I want to judge it from. That's the entry. How high did it get after that? That's how I'm determining the ROI or the profitability of these plays. Just like this one, it only has it has one signal because 2 different contract addresses showed up. So just understand that these tokens have been around for, a couple of days or something, I don't know. Kevin's another one this morning that made some money. I think I actually put it on there. Yeah, there it is right there. It did a 2x, but it could be more by now. So anyway, hopefully you see how I do this. GMGN.ai is where I look at most of them because it's got a lot of audit information. Let me just look at this one real quick, see if it went up anymore. No, so it's down. And this one still at least looks like it's turning up. We'll see if any more eyes get on it and can push it further. Oh, one more thing I want to mention just to wrap things up. Well, I know I said that already, but you should have some kind of bot that you can set. Here, let me show you. This one's called TradeWiz. You can ask me about it if you're interested in this one, but you can go to your manual buy and auto sell settings. And a lot of these are going to have it like Trojan or Bloom. There's a lot of different types like this, but you need to have some kind of auto sell feature. I don't have a stop loss feature, or I don't have a stop loss on mine, although you could set one. But it's good to have these take profit areas because, price on these can pump really quickly sometimes. So try to set some take profit areas for yourself. Maybe you want to take, maybe you would just want to go for the big hitters, and you don't want to take profits or you don't want to take initials at 2x or 3x. And that's fine. That's kind of how I have it set up here. But just understand that you're going to lose money this way as well. You're going for moonshots, but if it gets up to 3x or 5x and you don't take profits and then it turns around on you, you may end up losing money instead of getting a 5x. So, maybe I need to adjust this some to where I at least take some profit at 5x, 10x at the very least. I think I have one for 7.5x right there. Yeah, to take 50% out. Should really set that for a 5. Maybe put it at 480%. So that'd be about, 5, 6x, something like that. And then you can put how much percentage you want to take out at that point. But it is important to do this because, you don't want to miss out on profits. And if it makes you feel better and not have to worry about it to take profits at 2x, 3x, then, go ahead and do that. At least take your initials out and then let the rest ride for free. And if you look back at these results that we have, then here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So over the last couple of days, at least with this small sample size, if you would have entered every one of these plays, not only would you have made a lot of money, but you would have also taken initials out so that your risk was much lower because they all hit at least 2x. So, you have to balance that risk. Do what makes you feel comfortable is the most important thing. Here's a couple more that showed up. Let me just show you one more time. We're going to copy the contract address. We're going to go over to trench.bot. We're going to paste it in. If they have more than 21 bundles, probably not interested in it, although we have seen some that still do well. They got 13 bundles, 32 sold. That looks fine. They still got some supply, so there's probably going to be some sell-off here unless they're waiting for higher prices to sell. So we'll bring it up here. We'll look at the chart now. I prefer that they have an X channel. That's nice if they do. Let's see. So our signal didn't show up until, 2 minutes ago. So this could be the current local top, especially if these start tightening and then roll over, then it's coming back down to here minimum. Just watch this middle line on the Bollinger Band. And then you might want to consider taking a buy there, or again, you want to watch the 100K area, somewhere around 400 to 500K. And then of course, if it gets back above 1 million, it's currently acting as resistance at 1 million. These are the areas that it typically finds support after a dip. But again, that doesn't mean that you automatically buy. If this is turning down, you want to wait, especially if this crosses down. You want to wait for it to turn back up. You want to wait for the blue line to cross back above the orange line. But if it comes back down and it touches this orange line, you can take a buy there on the Bollinger Band. Before I was talking about the MACD, orange line. So on the Bollinger Band midline, orange line here, it's okay to take a buy and use it as support. But if you get a candle close below there, you have to get out. We can actually look at what it's doing on 1 minute. Yeah, see if you go down to the 1 minute, it's already crossed down. So you wouldn't have taken this trade. You would have waited. Probably start on the 1 minute when you're looking at these charts and see how you got a cross down right there on the MACD. Even though that's showing you a green candle, it doesn't mean that it's ready to go up. Wait for the MACD to curl up, or wait for the candle to get back above the midline on the Bollinger Band here. And the places that this action can take place is somewhere around these support levels. So 100K, somewhere around 400 to 500K, or around 1 million. Those are your support resistance lines. If price was to come all the way back down to 100K, it might come back up into this area, this zone, reject here, and then finally get above it. If it got above it and this was turning up, or it was above the Bollinger Band in this area, then that would be a buy signal. So see how you just save money in real time because you didn't take this trade, because you have the Bollinger Band indicator up and you have the MACD up. So this tells you that it's, things are in the red here. You're below the midline there. So I hope that makes sense. I'm not going to do another one because that was kind of a quick way to show you everything we just talked about. But do let me know if you have any questions. I can always do another video like this. Things are going to change with the spot anyway. We're going to make it better, and I'll have to do another video in the future anyway. But this is a really good primer to help anybody that is thinking about trading these more risky memes and how to limit your risk on it. Although you'll still lose money, but hopefully you make a lot more than you lose. And my hope is, we're in the downtrend right now, right? And we're still seeing 200x, 30x, 20x, 10x, 40x. We're seeing actual gains from these tokens that are new launches, even while the market's down. And that should be very encouraging to you that you can make money at any time with this group. Okay, well, y'all have a good rest of your weekend. And again, let me know if you have any questions.